Okay, unfortunately, I will not be in class this Thursday to help you prepare for a teacher scored assignment in Unit 4. I'm preparing this video for you. And you may look at this and go, 4.10, that's like the end of the unit. I don't need to worry about that now. Yeah, you do. You will be accumulating data and evidence from the very beginning of this unit until 4.10, and it's accumulative. So you will need information from every single one of the lessons, evidence packs, whatever, to get to the point to be able to complete this assignment. So, what is the assignment? At the very beginning of Unit 4, you will be introduced to Brittany. Brittany is the victim of a kidnapping. You will be given the particulars surrounding her disappearance. And then through subsequent lessons, you will be given evidence to accumulate to prosecute individuals who kidnapped Brittany, as well as to find out or give guidance to investigators as to where to look for her. For example, Lesson 2, 4.02, is on tool marks. In that lesson, you will be able to look at and analyze some tool marks to be able to determine, how did the perpetrators get access to Brittany's property and to her home. So start taking notes and accumulating that tool mark evidence from lesson 4.02 because you will need it for the 4.10 assignment. That type of work will be in every single lesson. In the glass lesson, you'll look at some broken glass at Brittany's house. In the soil lesson, you'll look at soil on people's shoes, found at cars. So you will need to accumulate that evidence throughout the whole unit. Once you do, you will get to the 4.10 assignment, and it has two parts. Part 1, you will be asked to tell a chronology of the crime. Okay? Quite often students feel like they need to tell all of the background. No. What this is to look at the crime scene and tell me or explain to those reading this report how the crime progressed chronologically. So start where the perpetrator entered the property. Where did they go next? What did they do after that? When did they meet Brittany? What happened when they met Brittany? How did they leave the property? Now, at every step along the way, you will also need to present evidence that backs up that chronology. For example, if you are stating that the perpetrators entered Brittany's home through the front door, what evidence supports that? Are there footprints? Are there tool marks? Are there fingerprints? What evidence supports that point of entry? And you will need to do that for every step along the way. Where did they travel in the house? How do you know that that's where they traveled in the house? Okay, so glass, yeah, all of that stuff. Accumulate it throughout the entire unit. Again, tell me in part 1 the chronology of the crime from when the perpetrators entered the property to when they left the property, and then cite evidence and describe it to support every single step along the way. This should be done in 2 to 3 paragraphs, not sentences, and it is worth 10 points. Now, part 2. First of all, I want you to notice part 2 is worth 15 points. It is worth more points than part 1. 9 times out of 10, I will get students tell me in one sentence their answer to part 2. And they never, ever, ever get the full 15 points. If it's worth more points, it should show more work. Okay? Part 2. In part 2, you are going to tell FBI investigators where to look for Brittany. All right? That does not mean look for her in the woods or look for her in northwest Missouri. Okay? If I'm in the FBI, I would hate directions like that. I would want to know where to look. Be specific. Now, you may not have an address, but because of the evidence that you have accumulated, not just at the crime scene, but other evidence gathered throughout the investigation, you may be able to narrow it down to a type of location or an area or both. Okay? Again, this type of evidence, I'm looking for a list of 3 or more different types of evidences. So don't just say, well, the soil evidence says I should look for her around St. Louis. Okay, first of all, that's only one piece of evidence. Do you really think the FBI is going to, initiate a huge manhunt based on just that? And second, St. Louis is a big place. So evidence, have several pieces of evidence. I'm looking for a minimum of 3 pieces of evidence to narrow down where to look. Okay, and again, you will accumulate this through the entire unit. And be as specific as you can. Now, obviously, you won't probably be able to say, look for her at, 862 Washington Street, but maybe there'll be something with something the perpetrators dropped at the crime scene that might make you think they really like movies. And you could suggest, try looking at movie theaters around here. Now, that is not a correct answer. Do not use that. I'm just using that as an example. So remember, you can be as narrow as you can in terms of physical geographic area, and then also be as narrow you can as in types or categories of places where to look. And again, it is worth 15 points. It's worth more, so I should see more work involved in it. Remember, this is due on April 13th, and we haven't had this come up very much in this class because we haven't had very many teacher-scored assignments, but I do have an early submission bonus. So if you turn it in before it is late, so if you turn it in on April 10th or April 13th at 10:30, you would qualify for that early submission bonus. It's 10%, so this is worth 25 points. I will be kind. I will round up. You get a free 3 points for turning it in early. And once again, remember, you will use the whole unit for this assignment. So start making notes and working on it from the very beginning of the unit. Day 1, when you start looking at trace evidence in the crime story, start working on the assignment so you've got those details prepared for you to do the assignment. Again, if you have any questions, send me an email. I will be out of the office on Thursday, but I will answer emails on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you need some help, I would be glad to answer those emails then. And here's something to have you smile to get you on your way.